Hi, I want to introduce myself. My name's David. I'm a sports psychology major, and my focus today is traumatic injuries, focusing on the psychosocial aspects of rehabilitation. So, when I think about injuries, I think about, we think about actually, minor injuries, stuff like that. You sprain your ankle, you run, you fall on your knee, you hurt, you bruise your knee. Maybe you overstretch the muscle when you're lifting too much weight, stuff like that, because, you know, they're usually initial injuries that come and go really quickly. But we pause when we see something traumatic. Some traumatic injuries I could speak about. Um, DeMarcus Cousins of the Golden State Warriors this past year, he was coming off an Achilles tear, and then recently in the playoffs right now, he just injured his quadriceps, I believe, but I could be wrong. Um, Seeing some players tear the ACLs. Example, Julian Edelman of New England Patriots did that in 2017, and it halted him from playing uh, the 2017 season. I mean, but this is where I come into talking about traumatic injury and recovering from it. Through the rehabilitation process, Julian Edelman didn't stall. He didn't let this injury control him. He addressed the media. He embraced it. And he had positive talk. This is one of the best things I think you could approach handling an injury for such a long time. If you continue to have positive talk, you're going to motivate yourself to think only positive things. You see, like, look forward to returning quickly. Look forward to playing quickly, look forward to doing cuts and stuff like that as a wide receiver for him in the NFL. And these are just particular to his position. I think it's he also created imagery that he would be coming back stronger, better player. And so I want to focus on another player, Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward, as you can see probably in this past video, he was playing his first game on the Boston Celtics. He just came from an all-star team with the Utah Jazz. Well, he was the all-star player. I apologize. And he got a huge contract. He was supposed to be the new superstar for the Celtics, play along Kyrie Irving. So there was a lot of hype with the Boston Celtics for the season. And within the first 5 minutes, he managed to come down and break his ankle. And it was sad. Media really, really, really just let you feel how traumatic the injury was. And they would question, will he ever come back? Can he come back? Is his career over? And so an athlete like this, suffering such a traumatic injury, first has to accept the fact that they just injured themselves and it's not a small injury and they're not going to be back for another year. So they have to accept the fact that they're not going to be playing with their teammates. They're not going to play for an entire year. Will it affect their team? Will it affect him? Which later you would find out that it does affect him because a team succeeded without him. It almost made it to NBA Finals, so it kind of caused him to feel not as useful. Proceeding on though, they did a documentary series called The Return. If I suggest you look it up. It expresses how he handles it, and he had staff help him, the athletic trainer, exercise physiologist. He also talked about seeking a sports psychologist who actually really helped him vent. And I think it's because the sports psychologist allowed him to be mindful of his injury, but also express his discomfort with the injury. And to have a return like that is so hard. To be out of basketball from September to the following October of the next year, a lot's going to go through your mind. You're going to feel exhausted because your life is a certain sport, but then you're sidelined for a long time. But I think the way they handled his injury was fantastic. They sent him to San Diego for a couple months to recover properly, away from the team, opposite side of the United States. Then when he was progressing in his rehabilitation, they sent him to Indiana, his hometown, where Boston's own employees followed him and helped him throughout the entire process. He had some surgery issues after because I believe it was the little surgical implant they put, it was bothering him and actually halting his progress. So they ended up taking it out of his ankle and he progressed even more. One of the part of the video I really enjoyed was that he talked about people writing him off, that his career was over, he's done in his prime, and he said no, he was motivated. He was not going to allow that to determine who he was, and he had always been questioned throughout his career. So not every athlete in the future who has a traumatic injury has this chip on their shoulder, but to give them something to be motivated about is so key. And to introduce that, you introduce positive self-talk, you introduce self-imagery, so they allow themselves to see themselves when they're coming back from injury, but also succeeding through their own rehabilitation. Doing goal setting. Goal setting is fantastic. And so I think there's so much tools to what we can do, and I believe a sports psychologist can really help with this pathway. To endure such traumatic injuries, though, you have to also be there emotionally for these athletes. They don't know what to think at first. They're gonna have hiccups. There was a time when I was an athlete. I have epilepsy, and I would have a lot of bumps in the road, but what mattered was I wanted to play so badly, but I just kept working out. But I vented to friends and I talked to them because I knew that if I talked, I would get this problem out there and I would just address it. So I believe the psychosocial aspect of rehabilitation is very key, especially in a traumatic injury. And I encourage you guys to look for more books that talk about players who have gotten injured or have to go through that stuff. I just read one about Julian Edelman and how he had injuries trying to become the player that he became. And there's so many more. But I would suggest just look for a book. I hope you found this video informative. I hope you like my poster. If you're not a Star Wars fan, sorry. All right. I hope you guys have great luck with your finals. To those who are graduating, congrats. That's me too. And I hope you're all ready for fall 2019. I almost forgot the year. All right. Good luck, guys.